as we finish up here, let's jump back into it. Please join me in welcoming our next speaker, where we talk about Beyond the Machine, building a contamination detection program that actually works. Why equipment alone won't keep you compliant. From Sesotec, please welcome Chris Bowman.
All right, well, this is going to be exciting. I'm looking out there. I've got one request. I can't watch my phone for the score. So if anybody is watching when Canada scores, I need you to give me some sort of signal like, whoa, okay? Deal? Fantastic, fantastic. All right, so again, my name's Chris Bowman. I'm with Sesotec Canada. We're a manufacturer of x-rays and metal detectors, and we do some really cool stuff. I'm going to start by saying that there's a lot of companies out here that all have metal detectors or x-rays. Hands up if you do. Hands up if you want more. Perfect. Okay, get those. All right. You got to get leads somewhere. Oh, I can see it down here too. This is going to be even easier. So, why do we have metal detectors and why do we have x-rays? Because our customers tell us we have to have them, Chris. Right, so this morning Brad was up here, and Costco, is Costco in the room still? Yes, no? I'm not. Oh, yes, okay, so I won't use you as an example, I'll use Walmart washrooms instead. All right, so when we talk about why we have metal detectors, why we have x-rays, it's because we need them to check the food to make sure there's no contamination. Well, why do we have contamination? Well, because it happens, right? Stuff happens. And so when we look at having it, and contamination compliance failures don't happen because the company says, we have them and we have everybody's, but are we using them correctly? Are we checking them regularly? All of those things. I use the example of a Walmart washroom. Who here has been in a Walmart washroom before? Yeah? And you saw on the wall where they cleaned it, and you look at when they cleaned it, and the last time that it was cleaned was at 4:30, and you look and it's still dirty, but somebody still signed it off. How many people are signing off on their hourly audits with paper? Oh, come on now. I've been in some of your plants. I've seen it. Yeah, there we go. I saw the hands go up. Right? So most of those compliance failures when we have contamination get through isn't because you selected a Mettler Toledo or a Fortress. It's because something else in the program went wrong. Somebody missed an audit. Somebody said they did the audit, but maybe it didn't actually happen. Maybe there was an equipment failure. Maybe the equipment wasn't chosen properly for the application. So we call that a program design gap. One of the things that we like to do is make sure that we understand the full process before we actually dive in and say, you need a metal detector. Right? 3 years ago, Costco came out and said, thou shalt have an x-ray. And then they said, well, you know what, maybe not. Well, it kind of depends, because an x-ray will do some things, but a metal detector does other. You know what, go find an expert. And so thank you, Costco. No, seriously, it was the best. When I just started with the company and Costco said this, I'm like, my x-ray sales are going to triple. They didn't. But I got a lot more questions. I got a lot more of, why do I need an x-ray? Well, here's some advantages of an x-ray. But here's some advantages of a metal detector. And so we talk about that program design gap. Operator dependency. How many people in this room have done an audit check on a metal detector or an x-ray? 3 wands, 3 times every hour? How exciting was that? Come on now, 3 wands, 3 times. Did it get it? I think so. Did you always remember it was the same wand? Did you ever mix the wands up? Because after using them for a year, is this the fair? Is this the non? Oh my gosh, right? There's a dependency on people. Now I've heard the AI thing, and I've heard there's failure points. I think it was Stalin that said, "No people, no problem." Imagine if we got rid of all of the people in our plants. Yep, it would be that quiet. Okay? So we know we have to have people, but we have to make sure that we give them systems that allow them to work easily and accurately. Documentation failure. So there were some people with paper and pens. I think it was it Warren Buffett? I think it was Warren Buffett said he uses a $2 pen to sign checks and things like that, the bank pens, because that ink actually never can't be erased, can't be modified. When we look at our documentation failure, we heard from Trace Gaines, we're going to hear from some others that look at that documentation process and digitizing it. Right? That's important that a machine is going to also make sure and support your existing programs. So audit ready, who here's plants are audit ready today at this very moment? Here's a reverse question, why didn't the rest of you put your hands up? Okay, who here's plant is not audit ready right now? I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your honesty. And so then the question comes, well, why? Well, why? Well, because, things happen, and I'm not sure exactly where the paperwork might be. So when we look at what audit ready really means, if a CFIA inspector or an audit or a Costco inspector or a customer inspector walks in your door and you don't know that they're coming, are you going to pass? And I would say most of us will pass, right? Our programs have been in place for a long time. We've got our stuff together. Woo! Canada scored! Oh, thank you. Thank you. Right? So when the CFI comes in, what are they doing? What are they doing? Are they saying, are you producing your food well? No, they're coming in, they're looking at your program, right? They're saying, it's kind of like ISO, do as you say as you do, and document everything, right? So they're saying, are you doing what your program says? So things that they want to see, I'm not going to go through these. I'm sure you know better what they want to see than I do. When we start talking about program gaps, just a quick clap if any of these apply to you. No formal product qualification on record. Really? So every single product of yours, you've got a validation for your metal detector and your X-ray? Kudos, that's awesome. It doesn't happen everywhere, believe it or not. Audit checks done inconsistently. Are you doing audit checks every hour on the hour? Pretty close? Pretty close? You're 100% sure of that? The people that are doing them, are you in the room right now? Or are you relying on somebody in the plant level? You're relying on somebody else. And so you hope that they do. They've been trained to do it, and there's a document where they've signed it or a software where they've clicked, yes, I've done it. Okay? Sensitivity set is once at install. How many people have improved their sensitivity over the last 2 years? With new equipment or with changes to your existing? Revalidated. Okay. How many others haven't touched or changed their plant spec in the last 2 years? Last 5 years? We go into a lot of plants where there's metal detectors that are 5, 6, 10 years old, and they work fine, and they do the job, and they meet the plant specification. However, there's been some technology improvements since then, and so we can get more sensitive. We can get different contaminants. Paper logs, we already kind of talked about. Who tells you when you're due for your annual validations? How many people know exactly when their X-ray or their metal detector is due for validation? Awesome. How many of you called the month before to schedule it? How many called the day before? Again, I'm going to say there's customers in this room, and your plants call us the day before. Right? So what we've tried to do is to develop a system and a framework to make sure that your detection and your sensitivity, your detection in your program meets and is compliant 100%. So the first thing that we do is we go through a qualification. We take a look at your plant. We say, hey, what is it that you're really trying to do? We then validate. We say, okay, you want to achieve a certain setting, give us some sample product, we'll run it through our machines, we'll tell you what we think we can do, and then we'll use that product for our barbecue on Friday. Thank you very much for your donation to our company. Once we do that, then we say, okay, let's take a look at what we're going to do for false rejects. Who in here loves false rejects? If anybody puts your hand up, you're lying, right? This is a room full of quality people. They say, no, we want no false rejects. Right? Then we bring in and we say, okay, audit check, those hourly audits. It's interesting because those hourly audits, what triggers an operator to do the audits? Anyone? What triggers your operators or your QA people to do the audit? Is there an alarm clock they have set? Okay, so on their tablet, their team, it comes up and says, hey, you got to go do this right now. Awesome, there's a trigger. Right? In a lot of plants, the trigger is the clock up on the wall. I was actually in a plant the other day where the clock on the wall said 8:10 when I got there. It said 8:10 when I left. I'm willing to bet $1, and I mean a crisp $1 bill, Canadian, that it still says 8:10. Right? So when we look at developing your audit check program, we want to also make sure that if it's every hour, that's great, but maybe there's an opportunity to push it out to every 2 hours. Imagine being able to cut your audit checks in half. Who does your audit checks? Quality people? Production? Is it always the same person, or does it change sometimes if somebody is off or sick? That's awesome. What if it could be done and there was a signed thing and logged in, and only certain people could release, if you will, the machine or approve the machine and say, yes, this was done. And people are already doing that with qualified, trained individuals. Okay? Part of the whole validation process is an annual validation, right? Where you have to get a third party to come in, another manufacturer, the manufacturer or somebody else. So we come in and we look at all of your pieces of equipment and we say, yes, that equipment works to the way that this plant has said it should work. Right? And I think that all of these pieces are very important. Not only having that audit check happening, making sure that it's being validated, and having a third party come in, it all makes some sense, or else they probably wouldn't make us do it. We want to build upon that. And so what we've done is we've said, okay, let's have a tool that within the metal detector or the X-ray itself, we can monitor and maintain compliance. So we say, introduce what we call compliance mode. And so what this does is it allows for you to set up your plant specification for a product, and then using that plant specification, if somebody's going to come in and reteach the product or make an adjustment, and it goes outside of the accepted range of what your plant spec is, man, we stop. Now, everybody in this room is quality, right? So if I stop your line because it doesn't work, you're going to be, yes, this is great, Chris. Thank you. Give this to us. Is anybody in here from operations? If anybody puts their hand up, I'm betting you're going to be asked to leave. I saw a hand back there. I'm just kidding. You don't have to leave. But if I say to operations, hey, is it okay if I stop your line completely? She's shaking her head, I think. Yeah, no, of course not. So, okay, let's do warnings. But like change, how many people love change? Not like quarters and nickels and dimes, but like changing a habit. Nobody, oh, good for you. I don't. I hate change. I eat at Domino's Pizza. I eat at Boston Pizza. I stay in the same hotels. It's just a creature of habit. When we go to do these types of changes and we implement some of these things, we want to do it in stages. So with compliance mode, we lock it in, and then we use a sensitivity forecast system. So when you teach the product with your X-ray or your metal detector, it tells you, this is what I think I'm going to be able to do. And so if the metal detector or the X-ray is smart enough to say, this is what I think I'm able to detect, you verify that it is able to detect and you set your plant standard. Now all of a sudden the machine gets a little bit smarter. If for some reason the machine's not able to detect to the sensitivity that your plant spec is, you don't have to just rely on the operator or the validation pieces going through. If somebody goes to make a change, you get a little bit more confidence in your system. You know, I asked earlier, how many people are audit ready? And most people put up their hand. A few people said, well, I'm not sure if I am, right? Would this not increase your confidence level? If the machine's going to stop if it doesn't meet your plant spec? Gives you a little bit more confidence, right? So how it works, what we do with audit check is we give a request. We say, hey, come check me. Come check me. Come check me. Come check me. Somebody come check me. Nobody's running to the stage. I'm so disappointed. Okay? Once the operator comes to the stage, they say, once the operator gets to the machine, they say, I'm ready to do this. And then we guide them through. When you were running audit checks, were you doing ferrous first, non-ferrous first, or stainless steel first? It's your preference. Was everybody else doing the same? Now, did you go ferrous, 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 non-ferrous, 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 stainless steel, stainless steel? I'm only moving side to side, so the guy at the back has to move the camera. It doesn't really matter, but how do you keep track of you doing 3 of them 3 times? I mean, it's not that easy. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, right? But sometimes sticks get moved. So if somebody was guiding you saying, hey, do the ferrous now, do the non-ferrous now, do the stainless steel now, would that be a little bit easier? Yeah? Operators on the line, the people running those QA sticks, do they have other jobs to do as well, or is it just that? You usually have other jobs too, right? Who here likes to be task loaded, to do 500 things and be responsible for 500 things? Oh, come on, nobody's putting up their hand? There's gotta be a few OCD and ADHD people out there that just love task loading, right? So the audit check says, hey, I'm gonna let you know when it's time to do it. When you do your measurements, do you just say, I got the wands, yes or no? Is that good enough? Yes, I got the wands. Who here says that's good enough? Nobody? Oh, you want to know the signal strength too. You want to say that it got the wands and this was the signal that it got? Yeah? Okay. So do they record that signal down and document it? How many times have you written a number and you wrote the number wrong, or you put a 3 and it looks like an 8? You put a 5 and it looks like an S? Okay. So having a system that actually measures itself and documents itself, would that be useful? And then has the operator actually sign off? So now all of a sudden, my name is associated to this. This is the person who did it, and it's documented. I don't have to have a whole bunch of sheets of paper. I can tie this right into my other systems and have this documentation, that whole idea of like a blockchain where everything feeds into one program. Imagine a machine that checks itself. How many people drive a car? How many people's check engine light is on right now? Fantastic. Just keep driving. Just keep driving. Right? So imagine a machine, a metal detector or an X-ray, that's continuously checking itself. That says, okay, I know that I have a sensitivity prediction. I know what I should be capable of doing. I also want to check all of my circuit boards and just make sure that I have that cycle. Who here remembers BlackBerry? Right? BlackBerry had this neat thing where it was like a security token that each board within a phone had to have the right serial number and right handshake to share data and keep data secure. So something along that lines where we're actually monitoring the whole system. So if the system goes bad or isn't able to detect to what we think it is, we say, hey, wait, stop, I'm not ready yet. Something's broken within me. Imagine knowing that 3 seconds after the machine decided it was going to fail for whatever reason, or even 5 minutes. We can set that up, the frequency. But now all of a sudden, the machine's telling you right away. So you don't necessarily have to go and say, I've got all of this product I need to rework. Oh my gosh, I need a third party to rerun all this equipment. How much does it cost to take all of this product, put it into a truck, ship it off to somebody to retest it all? How much of a pain in the is that? It's got to be pretty easy, right? I mean, come on, it's just a transport truck, and you have to have signed, and you got to seal it, and you have to have controls and make sure that everybody handles it properly. Seems pretty straightforward and easy. Probably not something you want to do every day or every week or every month, but it happens. So if we have a machine that's actually monitoring itself, we know that it failed from the last time it checked itself 5 minutes ago to the point that it said, hey, I'm broken. So with metal detectors, again, it's a 4-channel signal. It is sending electrical signals through into the detector to say, did I get this? And it says, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. With X-ray inspection, it's a little bit different. It takes those sensitivity predictions we talked about earlier. It says, can I still see that? Yes, I can. Right? Having it all, again, all results time-stamped and in the logbook. Right? Document everything. Document everything. Validation. Who here has watched a company come in and do validations on your equipment? I keep pointing to you because you're easiest to see. Or come over here. Right at the back. Perfect. Tell me about it. Tell me about, what did the person do? They took a wand and they ran it through? And how many times did they run the wand through? 5 times? That's pretty good. Who here is doing a doctorate or has a doctorate degree or understands, what is it called? Statistical variation and stats. Who likes stats? Nobody. Perfect. Okay, so they ran it through 5 times. They wrote down some numbers, and they said, yep, you're good to go. Yeah, it was like magic, right? You're like, why am I paying this person to do it? I can't believe, exactly, I do the same thing. Why am I paying this person? So with our system, we have what we call integrated validation. And what this does is it does that, but it does it 10 times per wand. And it actually goes through a statistical process to make sure that each time the wand went through, the measurements were within 1 standard deviation of each other. So if accidentally somebody ran the wrong wand and it said, yes, this is it, but the signal strength was way high, under a normal validation, they're just going, oh, the signal strength is high. Yep, keep going. But in reality, that machine isn't, like there's something going on there. If it had the exact same stick, it should be within a specific range. So with us, through the validation process, we walk through, again, like the audit check. We step through using the machine as a guide. It does the measurements, then we give the validation. The result comes out, you get your nice certificate. Wouldn't it be nice if you could also do it for yourself? Now, the CFIA says you have to have a third party give you a certificate every year on this. But if you have a company like, say, Costco or Walmart or another customer that really wants to see your program and see that you're committed to your program, why wouldn't you do it on your own halfway through the year? Do a real statistical analysis. So with our system, you're allowed, and we not allowed, it's able, you can go in and walk through the exact same process you would having us do it, and you can make sure that your machine is indeed working to that level of 100% validation. It only gives you a report. It doesn't give you the certificate, unfortunately. You still need to have us come in and do it. However, it is the higher level compliance that you're going after. So again, we take a look at the whole kind of idea of a compliance package, a software package that integrates with your metal detector and X-rays. And what we're really trying to do is take that false rejects, drive them down to 0, right? We want that paperless up to 100%. There's a booth across. What's the quote on the booth across from us? Where's the paper? They're not here. Ask Trace Gaines. Trace Gaines, where are you? She's right there, yay! How many printed reports do you like to give? Excellent, why have paper, right? And then recall ready. You want to make sure that your system has been 100% all of the time. So when your CFIA inspector comes in, the question the CFIA and your retail customers are asking you isn't just, hey, do you have a metal detector? Right? They used to just check that box. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't get audited like you guys do, but right? The CFIA is now asking other questions. What they're saying is, can you prove that your system works? If you do have a recall, what are they asking you? Can you prove that you did all that you could do to prevent this from happening? And equipment gives you a piece of equipment, right? And yes, hey, I've got a metal detector, I'm good. Okay, but is it working? Is it really working, right? Your full program is where it all comes together. So I'm just going to say, in today's Canadian food equipment, proof isn't just in the pudding. That is a food joke. Yeah, my jokes aren't nearly as good as Brad's were this morning. Okay? Or Sarah's with, did anybody get that joke either with the AI walks into a bar? Yeah, I had to Google it. I asked Claude. Claude said, why are you asking me? Please take a look at these other jokes. Okay? So thank you very much for your time. We've got about 5 minutes here for questions. I would highly recommend you don't get rickrolled. Don't scan this. No, I'm just kidding. It's not. If you want contact information from myself, please feel free to scan. We're also here. We've got some equipment here to take a look and can answer any other questions on how our systems might be able to work with your programs.
Thank you.
Woo!
Any questions for Chris?
4:15 on a Friday, my goodness.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
We have our microphone coming right behind you there.
And I apologize for the glare.
Thank you. My name is Naimat. I am from AGT Foods and Ingredient Inc. So it's just about the false positives. I know you, like there's an audit check, the system can keep records and all that. But sometimes it happens that the calibration, sometimes it shifts by itself, and sometimes QA or maintenance goes to recalibrate or, change the setting. So I know the system detects itself, but is there a possibility that will still happen and someone still kind of has to go in to change some settings or calibration, all that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's interesting because everybody uses the word calibration. When maintenance or somebody comes in and makes a change to the program or the recipe and makes an adjustment to sensitivity or threshold, what our system does is it makes sure that whatever change they made still falls within what your plant specification is in that compliance mode. So it does its own check and says, hold on a second, you've retaught this machine, you did a quick teach on it, we're gonna make this adjustment, no problem, but I don't think I can do your plant spec anymore, so hold on a second. If they manually override, go, hold on a second. There's different user levels. You can use a USB key to log in. You can have individual people type in their passwords. Often, the quality password gets left on, 5555, for anybody who wants to write it down. The service password is A653594. No, okay, never mind. Yeah, and so it's a real issue. And when anybody makes a change to the unit, they should also be doing their audit again, right? They should be running the 3 wands 3 times. But the machine will also do the double checks to make sure that perfect. The machine will also do its own check to make sure that it's still within that plant specifications. You also started to talk about false rejects a little bit. So when false rejects happen, what we try to do with that is, with our compliance mode, when it's set to what your plant spec is, it self-adjusts the threshold and the sensitivity to the worst case scenario. So if we think we can do 1, 2, and 3 mil, and your plant spec is 1, 2, and 5 mil, then we say, okay, let's make sure that we're able to do that 1 mil, and anything else, if we can do 1, 2, 3, but your plant spec's 5, then we make sure that we're adjusted so we don't get those false rejects, that the threshold or the sensitivity is adjusted at the right spot, the premium spot. No problem. If you want to go more detail, I'd love to talk more.
Any other questions? Yes.
My name is Marina. I'm from Nestle.
Yes.
1 second, Marina, we have a microphone for you.
Oh.
Do you have a recommendation on how to set up a sample size for validation? For example, how many passes do we have to get for ferrous, non-ferrous stainless steel to confirm metal detector is working? Because different standards have different requirements. We have our internal standards, the supplier standards, CFIA standards. So is there some sort of a scientific approach to this, and how can we establish that?
So for your hourly audits?
No, for validation.
For validation. For validation, the minimum is 333, documented through and certified. That's the minimum. On our IVP, we do 10. 10 gives enough statistical variation to give an adequate confidence level to the performance of the machine. It also allows us to go in and start to do a little bit more on the projections for false reject. My supervisor for my doctorate program would disagree with this when I talk about sample sizes. No, thou shalt have 30 people. Realistically, for the math, you need more. The more that you have, the more accurate you're going to be. But 10 is what we've decided for us is the right amount for us to be able to say there's one standard deviation within those 10 samples. Thank you. That was an excellent question. My gosh, it actually put me on edge.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time.